Okay, so hello and welcome to the Orientation to Leadership and Management in Health course. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Our goal of conducting this webinar prior to the start of the course is to help you have a smooth start to the course, orient you to the course structure, learning activities, and expectations. I want to call to your attention to the right side of your screen where you could see what we call the chat pod. If you have tech support questions, please post them here and one of our lovely team members will respond. There's a question and answer pod, which you can access by clicking the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You use this pod to ask questions about the course. Dewa and Missy will be able to answer your questions. And this makes it easier for our team to answer your questions, and the threading feature will make it easier to see the answers to the questions. So with that, let's meet the team. And as you can see on the screen here, we are a small but mighty team that is putting together your course. And the first two are your professors or faculty for teaching this course, and that's Britt Yamamoto and Ann Downer. And then we have Dewa, Meg, Chris, Missy, and myself, Liz, and we are all part of the EDGH team here to help you with technical support, course administration questions, student support, and content related issues. And as you know, this course is offered by the University of Washington Department of Global Health e-Learning Program. We are based in Seattle, which is where the gold star is on this screen. The purple countries are where you and the other students for this e-learning course are based. And then on your screen here, as you can see, there are a lot of learning goals. And the goal of this course is to improve the delivery of quality health services by strengthening the leadership and management skills of program participants. Here you will learn how to approach management challenges in health settings with organizational management as a guide, pose meaningful questions about what constitutes effective leadership and management in different settings, use core principles and tools from human resource and financial management to address challenges and solve problems. You will also be able to translate insights from self-assessment into personal plans for improving skills, identify and consult appropriate sources of data for making sound management decisions, align and motivate individuals, systems, and resources towards a common purpose. You will also be able to design and manage systems that are responsive to national and international requirements and demonstrate accountability to stakeholders. And last, you will be able to identify monitoring and evaluation methods to answer key questions about programmatic efficiency and effectiveness. And of course, as we feel most importantly, you will also learn how to refine and inform a professional value system by taking many assessments. This course offers many practical tools and resources to take you into your work. And here on your screen, this just shows what we will cover each week. So there are, I guess, technically 12, we can call it, with Module 0 and Module 11. But starting with your introduction module, this is the information that's going to acclimate you to your online learning environment. It's going to just make you feel more comfortable navigating through the online learning environment, especially if it is one of your first courses that you've ever taken. Here you will also be required to take a course policy quiz. And in order to eventually see Module 1, the Leading and Managing Framework module, you must complete that policy quiz. So please take the time once you are enrolled in the course to complete the introduction modules. Be thoughtful and just take that time to acclimate yourself and become familiar. We want it to feel the same experience as when you go to an in-person classroom and you know what to expect each time you visit that classroom. So that is the goal for the introduction module. So then each week you will be then presented with new content. Module 1 is the leading and managing framework. Then we move into building teams. Then we talk about supervising and delegating. In week 4, we discuss conflict management, and in 5, influence without authority. As we shift into the second half of the course, we talk about systems thinking and program and project management, data for decision making, accountability and financial management, and then we end with communicating effectively before we wrap up the course. Each week there are assignments due and activities. There is also the ILP and presentation, which are due in Module 10. So just remember, each week there will be activities, whether that is something that you submit through the assignments or discussions or quizzes that you need to complete each week. And all of that is listed within each module. And we're going to talk about that a little further on in our orientation today. So we estimate that it will take about 6 to 8 hours each week to watch the video lectures, do any required readings, participate in discussion forums, and complete the assignments, quizzes, and optional activities. And I do want to say that optional activities are what they are, optional. So if you want, you can always bookmark them, come back to them later. You can always download them and visit them in the future as well. So don't get overwhelmed if you think I can't make it to those optional activities in a given week. Okay, so next on your screen, as I give you a lot more information, is the grading rubric. And you can see that discussion forums are worth 10% of your final grade, and there are 5. These are in week 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11. So think of them as bi-weekly. You're not going to do a discussion forum every week. The discussion groups, which are about 25 to 30 people, that is different from your local site group. And that is because we want you to be able to interact with other people from different regions and countries. So you can at least feel like you're getting a useful conversation out of this with 25 to 30 people, rather than the entire course in one discussion forum. The weekly quizzes are worth 30% of your grade, and you have 2 attempts on the quizzes. They have 10 questions in most cases, and the quizzes will cover content presented in the video lectures and required readings. And please note that these are weekly quizzes. There are no final exams. And then the next 2 items are your main assignments, and they are the individual learning plan, or ILP, which you will see throughout the instructional materials. And that is worth 35 points. And then the final presentation, rather, I shouldn't have said points, percent. And then the final presentation is worth 25% of your final grade. The ILP is divided into 3 parts. So this is one that is due during week 3. Another portion of it is due during week 7. So week 3 and 7. And then the final week is when you submit the entire ILP during week 11. And I just saw a question that asked, why is ILP abbreviated? Again, that is the individual learning plan. So we just abbreviate it to ILP. But again, that is the individual learning plan.
And
okay.
The full number of weeks of the course, just to clarify the number of weeks of the course, we have a question about how many weeks total.
Oh, yes. So there are 10 weeks worth of actual content. So Dewa, if we could go back up to slide 5 real quick. There we go. So this introduction module is not necessarily your official module. but that is your introduction materials. That's why it's listed as module 0. But M1 through M10 are your actual 10 weeks of content. And then we give you, think of it like a bonus week to be able to wrap up all of your final items in the course. Dewa, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, that was great. Thanks, Liz.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, so let's jump back to slide 7, please. And for everyone that is attending this webinar, Dewa has been amazing and navigating through the slides for us. We are having some technical problems this morning. So then the last item on this screen here is the presentation. So this is your final presentation, and it will be given during week, I guess technically week 12, but think of it as that bonus week, module 11. And if you are part of a site group, you'll present at your site and upload it to the course website. If you are not part of a site, you will simply upload your final presentation to the course website. So again, I'll repeat that one more time. If you are a part of a site, you will present your final presentation to your site and then upload it to the course website. So just remember that. If you don't, I know we will remind you many times throughout the course in the announcements. So moving on, just a note about, again, the ILP is the individual learning plan. It is a set of questions for you to reflect on from the content presented in that week's module. It is worth the most points across the entire course. It is an important exercise in that there's not only integration and content application, but self-reflection from the many assessments. It is due at 3 points again throughout the course. For site coordinators, please know that this is different from our last offering. The first 2 times it is due, it is worth 5 points each. Then the last time it is due in week 11, or sorry, week 10, my apologies, week 10, it is worth 25 points. So if you wait until the end, you will still earn points, but we encourage that you keep up on the work each week in order to get the most out of the individual learning plan experience.
Liz, do you mind if I jump in?
Absolutely.
So we are doing the ILP a little bit differently, and the points breakdown is a little bit different than like for some of our site coordinators that are with us today. So parts 1 and 2 are worth 10 points, and then the final part is worth 15 points. We wanted to kind of distribute the points a little bit more evenly throughout the 3 submissions of the ILP, since each one is a third, where you're submitting a third of the assignment. So total points, like Liz said, is 35 points. Part 1 is worth 10. It's due in module 3, and then part 2 is worth 10 points, due in module 7.
If I could jump in quickly too, just to say I see a few people that have raised their hands. So just to remind you to type your questions into the Q&A pod so we can try to answer your questions as we go along or during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar.
Thank you, Ms. Sandewa. To earn a certificate of completion for the online course, you must pass the course with at least 70% average on the graded activities. So let's just take a moment here if you want to review. Again, discussion forums are 10%, weekly quizzes 30%, ILP or individual learning plan, which again, as Dewa was saying, is broken into 3 different grading opportunities, but it's 35%. And then your final presentation is 25%. So your goal is really to, at a minimum, get that 70% to pass. And then I also wanted to point out here, if you are part of a site, site attendance is required, and you must attend 3 out of 4 site meetings. And wanted to also highlight that site meetings, I believe, will be virtually this year. Is that correct, Dewa, Missy?
Yeah, that's correct. We've
Oh,
recommended
sorry.
that site meetings be remote at this time, knowing the situation with COVID-19. That's something that we've recommended that site coordinators do in conjunction with following the recommendations of their local health authorities. So site coordinators are welcome to reach out to us with questions, and certainly the health and safety of our participants is very important, and we are committed to that. So again, questions can come our way at edgh@uw.edu.
Thank you. Okay, so just to talk a little bit about the site meetings, these are a good opportunity to break into smaller groups and give each other feedback on the assignments. Alternatively, you could discuss some of the case studies or other activities. For all our site groups and participants, we want to make clear our commitment to your safety and security. And again, these will be conducted virtually, or at least we are strongly encouraging sites to practice an abundance of caution by hosting the meetings remotely. Again, if you do have questions, please don't hesitate to contact us, and we can talk more about site participation requirements for this course, and just to email us at edgh@uw.edu. And don't worry, guys, you will see that email address at the end of the slide deck. So if you didn't quite catch it, we will be showing it. Okay, so just a small item about plagiarism. In other courses, we have had some issues with plagiarism in the past. To support academic integrity, we will be checking assignments to see if you copied anything or plagiarized from other sources. Plagiarism is taking existing work and not crediting the source, which makes it seem like the work was your original idea. So don't just copy and paste from a website or a journal article. If you need to, cite it. Say what the source is. Here are examples on your screen of plagiarism. When you have a direct quote, you must acknowledge the source. Even when you are paraphrasing or changing just a few words in the sentence or paragraph, you need to source. So cite your source. If you're ever unsure, if you haven't changed it enough to be your own original idea, cite the source. That is always my recommendation. So just remember, assignments that reveal any degree of plagiarism may be subjected to a score of 0. So again, be safe, better safe than sorry, cite your sources, or come up with your own original ideas. Okay, so asking tech support questions, we strive our best to resolve your questions as quickly as we can and within a 24 to 48-hour time period. Please remember that for many of you, we are half a world away, and so we may not see your questions for 12 hours. Also, we may be slower to respond on the weekends. There are discussion forums for you to ask technical support questions or content questions, and Dewa will show you this in a moment. And you can also email edghhelp@uw.edu, and we can respond to your questions more quickly if you include the following information in your original request, which is what is appearing on your screen. So please remember with that email to include the name of the course or course topic, the name or the email address you use to log into the course, a detailed description of the problem, if applicable, a screenshot, and we can show you how to make a screenshot, which is included in the introduction module. And if you are experiencing the problem on a mobile device, please let us know. So with that, we are going to talk about the course website, and I'm going to hand it over to Dewa.
Liz, thank you so much for that great overview on the course. I am going to take you guys on a bit of a tour of the course website. Just bear with me for a moment while I get that queued up. Missy, if there were any questions that came in that you want to address at this point while I get that ready, we can go ahead and do that.
Just a few more questions about what the site meeting requirements might look like. So especially with the COVID-19 situation. So we'll just recommend that you make sure you're in contact with your site coordinator. EDGH has recommended that sites meet remotely and follow the guidelines of their local health authorities. So make sure that you're in touch with your site coordinator. And again, we're recommending that site groups meet remotely at this time. So that might look a little different from site group to site group. And there are a lot of different ways to meet remotely that are really effective. And so we've also encouraged site coordinators to reach out to us at EDGH if they have questions about the ways that different groups have connected remotely. So we're happy to share suggestions. And in fact, we have emailed out a number of different ideas and ways that sites have met remotely and connected with their groups. So we're happy to chat more about that if you would like to talk about ideas, or if you'd like to share your ideas as site coordinators, you can reach out to us. And again, participants, make sure that you're in contact with your site coordinators as well, so so they can answer your questions going forward. We will make sure that we're in contact with site coordinators. And then of course, if you have questions, participants, you're welcome to reach out to us as well. And I know we have a number of independent participants with us on the webinar as well. And so just to assure you too, we are moving forward with this course as planned. And for all of you, your health and safety is important to us. So so we're glad you're able to join us for this course. And you're always welcome to reach out to us with questions. Thanks for asking these questions as we go along. Again, in the Q&A pod is the best place to ask questions about the course so we can see them as we go.
Thank you so much for that, Missy. We will have a chunk of time at the end of this webinar for questions. So as questions come up, you can feel free to type them in the Q&A pod, and Missy and Liz will address them. They can also let me know if they want to jump in and answer a question as we're going through the course tour. And again, we'll also have some time at the end. So we definitely want to try to get to all or most of your questions during this webinar today. Okay, I just wanted to show you a brief tour of the course website so that when you're added to the course, you have some familiarity in terms of how to navigate around, where to find things. This is kind of where a lot of the questions that I get from participants come in throughout the course. So hopefully we can give you a little bit of just familiarity with the course before the course starts. So when you log into the course, this is the home page. You can see at the top it says LMIH, which is for spring 2020. And then we've got some information here about the instructors for the course, which are Ann Downer and Britt Yamamoto. And then below that, there is a little typed introduction from Ann and Britt. And there's a hyperlinked welcome video that's kind of in the first sentence of their welcome. And then there's also links to the syllabus, the announcements, the modules, and a few other things. So I would definitely recommend that you start there. And then from there, go to their welcome video, and that will give you a nice little overview of what you can expect in the course. Draw your attention to just a couple of things. On the left-hand side of your Canvas homepage, there is a list of a number of tabs. Those are the tabs that we're going to go through. So home, syllabus, modules, assignments, discussions, etc. We're going to go through each of those one by one so that you have a little bit of familiarity with those. And then the other thing I want to draw your attention to is on the right side of the screen, there is a to-do list, and it lists out the assignments that are coming up for you. So that's just kind of a handy guide so that you know what's coming up and what is coming up in terms of due dates. And it also tells you how many points these assignments are worth. And then if you click on the hyperlink, it will take you directly to that assignment. Just a note, I was going to mention this earlier, but there is this purple kind of bar that is going around my screen because I am currently logged in as a student. And I wanted to log in as a student so that as much similar to what you would see as opposed to what it looks like for me as an instructor in the course. So that purple bar is not going to be there for you. All right, let's go ahead and delve in. So this was the homepage. We'll go ahead into the next tab, which is the syllabus. There you can find basically the outline of the course. So you definitely want to go through this as soon as you are in the course. Contact information for each of the instructors, and then myself, the teaching assistant, and email address that you can reach me is also edgh@uw.edu. Information about the course description. You can download the PDF version of the course syllabus using this link here. And there's also a link to the course policy quiz, which Liz mentioned is a quiz that is not worth any points towards your final grade, but it is required in order to move on to modules 1 and 2. The course aims are listed out. The target audience talks about the format, the materials that we will be using. Again, another breakdown of the grading rubric, which I know there were quite a few questions on that still, but I think that as you become familiar with the course material, as you go through the syllabus and the introductory modules, you'll feel really comfortable with it. So we have the discussions, the quizzes, the individual learning plan or the ILP, which is broken out into 3 parts that are due in 3 different points in the course, and then the final presentation. We have some information about course completion and late work policy, and some more policies for you to have access to here. Technical assistance, this will link you to the technical support discussion forum, which I will show you in a moment. Some of the guest lectures that we have in the course. And then at the bottom, this is kind of a helpful spot where all of the assignments and the due dates are all listed out. So if you ever need to access that all at once, they can be found on the syllabus page. You'll find that there are multiple places in the course where all of the assignments are listed. Okay, the next tab I wanted to bring your attention to is the modules tab. So the modules tab starts out with the introductory module, which we'll do in the first week of the course. So the first week of the course, modules 1, 2, and the others are not open. It's just the introductory information. So that first week, what you'll be doing is just going through this introductory module and reading through and watching the videos from each of these components. And then the course policy quiz will be based on the information from the introductory module. So as you can see, there's a note here that the course policy quiz opens on April 6th, which is when the course starts. You will be added to the course a little bit before that, a few days before that, and I will let Missy at the end talk about the process for adding participants to the course. But when you're added to the course, you can go ahead and start delving into the introductory information, but the course policy quiz will open on April 6th, which is when the course starts. So once you complete the course policy quiz, you will have access to modules 1 and 2. And we keep the modules open a week ahead of time so that you can work ahead if that works for your schedule, but is definitely not required to work ahead. I'll talk a little bit about due dates and things like that when we take a look at the assignments, but generally the modules open 1 week at a time. The week before we are scheduled to cover them in the course. So you have a little bit of time to work ahead if necessary. So the modules are listed out here. So these first two modules are grayed out because the course policy quiz is required. So I'm just going to give you a short overview of module 3, just so you know what to expect with the modules. So the modules are where all of the course material, the lectures, the readings, the assignments, the activities, all of that material can be found in the course modules. So when you go into the course module, you can see there's a brief introduction to that module, what you listed out in terms of what the learning objectives are, what you can expect to learn in this module. And then the lectures are embedded within the module. You can see that there are options for downloading the video. You can also download the audio and use the transcript as well. The audio and the transcript are good options if you are in an area that has challenging internet connectivity. The audio and the transcript are good options for that. The heart of supervision, so you can see the next lecture is just follows. And then here, oops, sorry about that. Here is a prompt for the ILP assignment. And it gives you a link to the actual assignment and also the activity that you will do for that assignment. The readings are embedded here within the module as well. More lectures, ILP activities, and then towards the end here, so you will also see that the quiz for the first week, or I'm sorry, this is the third module, the quiz for module 3, and there's some additional resources as well that are available here. So this is all to show that all the information you need for the course, all the readings, all the lectures, all those materials are found in the modules. Again, this is this tab on the left side. Every week I send out an announcement just to kind of give you a heads up in terms of what's to come for that week. And I will link to each weekly module. But if for whatever reason you are not able to access that email, you can always find that information within the modules as well. It's not showing here right now because it hasn't been published, but those emails, those weekly emails that I send out will also be found under announcements. So I will send more information about that once the course begins.
And Dewa, can I jump in and ask one of the questions was, when will students gain access to their Canvas course?
Missy, do you want to go ahead and talk about that now, or should we wait until after?
Since we paused, I can quickly just say that we'll be adding participants to the course on the 2nd and 3rd of April. So it's close to when the course starts, just a little bit before. And we'll be sending information with details for how to log into the course at that time. So we'll share more about that in the Q&A if there are more questions.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. All that information is coming, and like Missy said. So let's go ahead and take a look at the assignments tab. So again, the assignments were listed out in the course syllabus page, but they also can be found in the assignments tab. And this shows you kind of a breakdown of, these are the main assignments in the course. So there's the 3 parts to the ILP, part 1, part 2, and then the final. It shows you when the assignment will become available, when it is due, and then how many points the assignment is worth. And then the other assignment that is part of this kind of larger group is the final presentation. And like Liz mentioned, there's 2 options for that. There is the leadership journey and the persuasive speech. So those are 2 things that you can choose from in terms of how you want to structure your final presentation. Final presentations are given to your site group if you are part of a site. And then if you are taking the course as an independent participant, you will just upload your presentation to Canvas with audio. If you are part of a site, you don't need to upload your presentation with audio. However, you do need to upload your presentation. That is something that we kind of run into with every offering of this course, is that site participants sometimes don't realize, even though we try to communicate this quite a bit, that they need to upload the presentation to Canvas. So if you are a site coordinator that is listening right now, just please be really sure to communicate clearly to your participants that even if they give the presentation to the site group, that they still need to upload it to Canvas in order to receive the grade for it. And it's worth 25 points. And it is worth a substantial amount of the final grade. So please be sure to upload your final presentation in addition to the other assignments that are due. So you can see that these assignments, the ILP broken up in 3 parts and the final presentation, are worth 60% of your final grade. So these are definitely assignments that you don't want to miss. While we're here, let's just talk briefly about how the due dates work in the course. So like I mentioned before, the assignments and the module will open a week before we cover it. And then the week that we cover that module, the assignments are due by the end of the week. So they're due by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday Pacific time. So and I understand that that is a different time zone for many of you, or most of you. And so that is when all the assignments are due. So you can see, like, for example, for part 1, it's due May 3rd at 11:59 p.m. So you could turn that assignment in early because it would be available, and you could work ahead and turn it in before then, the week before then, or you could turn it in the week of, but then it is due May 3rd at 11:59 p.m. We also keep the assignments open for another week past that. And so if the assignment is due May 3rd at 11:59, it would be open until May 10th at 11:59. So you would have a whole week to turn it in late and still get full credit for it. So please be mindful of that, especially for these larger assignments. You have a 3-week window to submit your assignment. You can submit it a week early, you could submit it the week that it's due, and you can also submit it a week late. However, once that close date, so I'll use this first ILP as an example, once that close date ends, so once it's May 10th at 11:59 p.m., that assignment will close and it can no longer be submitted for grading. So you would lose out on 10 points towards your final grade. And that is definitely something I would recommend that you keep an eye out for in terms of when assignments are due and also when they close. If something comes up for you that would prevent you from submitting the assignment before it closes, please reach out to me to let me know. But if you simply just need to turn the assignment in late during that kind of extra week, that extra window week, you can do so without getting any permission. The assignment will be open and you're welcome to turn it in late. And again, these are things that I will communicate as we get into the course, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview on how that works. So the next section of assignments we'll take a look at are the discussions. So we have 5 discussions in the course. They are not every week. They are not in every module. They're in modules 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11. So for example, module 1, which is the first module we'll cover, will not have a discussion due. It'll only have a quiz due for that module. The discussions work the same way as the assignments. There is a due date. You can submit it anytime before that due date. And then after that due date, there's a week that you can submit it late, but still get full credit. And then once that week passes and the assignment closes, it can no longer be submitted for grading. Quizzes work the same way. And the quizzes are worth 3 points each. And there is a quiz in every module, except for module 11, except for that last module. quizzes are worth 30% of your total grade, and discussions are 10. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the discussions tab, which is the next one. So you'll see here that there are a couple of pinned discussions: the technical support discussion, the course content discussion, and then the classroom cafe. The technical support is where you'll ask questions that pertain to technical issues that you might be having with the course. Chris Joss, who is our tech support specialist, will monitor that forum, and he can answer any of your questions there. And then the course content forum is where you can ask questions regarding course content, regarding grading or assignment due dates. Basically anything that is not a technical support question you can ask in the course content forum. And participants are welcome to help one another out and answer one another's questions in these forums if they have them. I will be monitoring the course content forum. And like I said, Chris will monitor the tech support forum. The Classroom Cafe is a forum just for you to socialize with your peers. And I would recommend that you use it for socialization and not for asking course related questions. I would use that other forums for that. You can see the other discussions that we talked about before are listed out here. And then the next tab is quizzes, which we've looked at under the assignments tab, but this just lists out the quizzes for the course. There are also a few case studies in the course that are built as quizzes. They are not graded, they are optional, and they don't count towards your final grade. So you can see that they're under this heading practice quizzes. The only quizzes that count towards your final grade are the ones that are named Module 1, Module 2, and so on. And then you can view your grades for the course at any time using this grades tab. And your grades will be listed out here. And then at the bottom, it'll give you a bit of an overview in terms of how you're doing in the course so far. All right, I think that was all that I had to cover in terms of the course tour. We'll go ahead, we've got 13 minutes left, so we'll go ahead and open it up for questions. And Missy and Liz, you can feel free to jump in and answer questions.
Hey, Gayla, there was a question about asking if their site coordinator could alert them of when quizzes and assignments are due. Could you just go back into assignments just to highlight where it says assignment due dates?
Yes. So I know that a lot of site coordinators are really great about communicating and helping their participants stay on track in terms of assignment due dates. That is also something that you will get from me on a weekly basis in the weekly announcements. So those weekly announcements will contain links to all the assignments. They will let you know the due dates. So I promise that the due dates will not be something that you will you will miss in this course, because they're pretty regular, they're pretty, and the information is available everywhere.
Yes, it's available. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Liz.
I was going to say it's available, as you can see on the screen, in the assignments, but it's also available in the syllabus. We also include it in each module. So, and it is bolded. It is very prevalent as to when items are due. So I'm pretty confident vast majority of the screens that you will be on will tell you when something is due. So hopefully between seeing content, the actual content in the modules, or getting a message from your site coordinator or an announcement from DEWA, you might actually get annoyed with the amount of times we tell you things are due this week.
Yes, yeah, and just keep in mind that there are certain points that the larger assignments are due, but the quizzes are every week, and then the discussions are just in those 5 modules, so 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11. But yeah, this will all, you'll get into a rhythm with this, and it'll become really apparent for you. The other thing I wanted to mention, which I didn't before, is that I said before that you can complete the assignments ahead of time. So quizzes are self-graded. So once you submit the quiz, your grade will be posted. So you'll receive that grade right away. However, for the ILP, the presentation, and the discussion grades, those grades are posted the day after they're due. So let me go up, sorry for the fast scrolling. So let me go up to the assignment. So for example, the first ILP part 1 is due May 3rd. Again, you can turn it in early. You can turn it anytime before that due date, but just please note that your grade won't be posted until May 4th. So grades are always due the Monday after the assignment due date, even if you submit your assignment early.
And to add to the quiz item, because there was one question in the Q&A, the quizzes are all multiple choice. There might be some true, false, or matching, but everything is going to be able to give you an automatic grade right away, as Dewa was saying. So there are no quiz questions that require you to type in an answer or an essay.
Thank you, Liz. There was a question about the final presentation. So the details on the final presentation will be available once you are in the course. There are, like I said, 2 options. There is the leadership journey option and there is the persuasive speech option. But it is a very brief presentation. We ask that there be no more than 5 or 6 slides. And that includes images and graphics as well. So it is a very brief presentation, and all of the requirements for that assignment will be outlined. So there's a question, it says, what if the ILP is submitted after the due date within the 1-week grace period? Will the results still be posted? Yes, so what I usually do is I usually check in on late assignments at least once a day and upload and post grades for any assignments that are submitted late. So if you submit an assignment late, if you don't receive a grade after 24 hours, I would email me to let me know and I can take a look at it for you. But it usually takes about a day for me to update late assignments. And Liz mentioned this in the slides, and I'll mention it again. We do work typical office hours. So for our time, for Pacific time, we work Monday through Friday, and we don't work typically on the weekends. And so if you submit an assignment, for example, late on the weekend, I would not expect your grade to be posted until Monday, our time.
I'll jump in to answer a question about the login information and when participants will be added to the course. So just to clarify, the course is scheduled to start on the 6th of April, and that's Pacific time. So we'll be adding participants to the course a little before that, and that will be the 2nd and 3rd of April. Across both of those days, we'll be working hard to get participants added to the course. You'll get an email invite to the course, and we'll follow up with directions. So that's also by email. So those directions will come with information that will help you log into the course website, Canvas. If you need additional login assistance or if you have questions, you can email us, and that's the email you've been hearing throughout the orientation. It's edgh@uw.edu. And a few of you have asked about what email or what login information you should use. So just to clarify that too, we'll be adding you to the course under the email that you used to apply for the course, and we'll be sending you an email at that same email that you used to apply, and that's what you'll use to log into the course and set up your set up your account. So again, directions are coming, and you'll receive those the 2nd or 3rd of April, that specific time. A little bit of a time difference for many of us. So let us know if you have questions around that time. If you do, we'll be happy to help. Okay. Thanks.
Missy, did you want to answer the next question about site attendance and just in relationship to COVID?
So let's see. I need a second here to read it. Yeah, so the site meeting requirement is the participation requirement is something that is in place for all sites. But if you as a site participant, or if your site coordinator has questions, please reach out to us at edgh@uw.edu. We can talk to you in a little bit more depth. Certainly, your safety, as we shared, is what we're committed to that, and that's our primary concern. So we're happy to talk with you if you have questions. And as we've shared as well, we've worked to communicate ideas for meeting remotely. So we can talk with you about ideas for how that can work. But also, again, we would just like to talk with you a little bit more if you have any concerns or questions about that participation requirement. We would be happy to chat with you. So send us an email and we can talk to you a little bit more and go over some of those questions and details and ideas. If you need that email again, it's edgh@uw.edu.
Thank you, Missy. There's a question regarding the Canvas app, and I just wanted to address that really quickly. So we do not recommend using the Canvas app, but I found that it is not reliable, especially for submitting assignments. I've had participants who have tried to submit an assignment or post a discussion using the Canvas app, and it just doesn't show up. And so it is a little bit problematic. So instead of the Canvas app, we recommend that you use the web browser on whatever device you're using, whether it's your computer or a tablet or your phone, to access the course. So I would recommend using the web browser instead of the app.
And to add to what Dewa was saying, that we do encourage the web version on your computers and laptops as well, because when you do submit your assignments, it is easiest to use Microsoft Word or some type of writing software that you could then PDF and upload it, unless you are, an expert at your smartphone, which you might be, and are able to navigate that smoothly on your phone. We do strongly encourage a desktop or a laptop, but we also understand challenges when getting to one of those two options isn't available. Again, using your web version on your phone, you can still at least view any of the videos, read the reading assignments, participate on discussions, but just know that the optimal experience is best on a computer.
Missy, did you want to address this question in terms of dropping?
Yeah. So if you are part of a site group, we encourage you to reach out to your site coordinator directly with questions about your participation and what the site group's plans are for hosting potentially a future site for a future offering of the course. So basically, it kind of depends on how you're participating. If you are an independent participant, you're welcome to reach out to us at EDGH directly. If you're again a site participant, reach out to your site coordinator to ask about participation at that time or for a future offering of the course, and what your site's policy is on that. And certainly you're always welcome to reach out to us with questions, and we can go into the specifics of your situation in a little bit more depth via email.
We'll just give maybe one more minute for any questions. Since no questions have come in, I'd just like to say thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. We definitely look forward to starting the course and going through the course material. I work on a number of the courses that we offer, and this is definitely one that that I enjoy doing quite a bit, because I think that the feedback that I get almost every single time is that participants get so much out of this course, and they feel like it is a very transformative experience. So definitely look forward to it. You will be emailed all the login information, as Missy said, and you should have that information shortly before the course starts. Missy, Liz, was there anything else before we wrap up?
No, that's all on my end.
I think that's it. Yeah. And if you have additional questions, I see them coming in kind of now, then you're welcome to, again, email us with your specific questions so we can answer them going forward, since we have to end. So it's great to have you with us, and we look forward to seeing you in the course.